Hey, good morning, eighth grade math. It's Thursday, October 29th, 2020. Hope you're enjoying yourself on this cool autumn-like Thursday morning. We're going to continue with lesson 4.1, and we're going to represent non-proportional linear relationships. So don't let these words fool you or get to you. Non-proportional means it doesn't start at 0, 0. Linear means the data can be described in a line. So here we have y equals 2x5, and they want us to make a table of values. So they have the x values. So when we plug this in, we plug it in right there. So let's go ahead and make our table and then fill it in. So number one, y equals 2x plus 5. So we begin with -2. So 2 times -2 plus 5 equals -1. 2 times -1 plus 5 equals 0. 2 times 0 plus 5 equals 1. 2 times 1 plus 5 equals. And 2. 2 times 2 plus 5 equals. Okay, so we've got this looking good. Let's go ahead and solve these. 2 times -2 is -4. Remember your integer rules. -4 plus 5 is going to be 1. That goes there. 2 times -1 is -2. Plus 5 is 3. Plus 5 is 3. 2 times 0 is 0. Plus 5 is 5. So if you'll notice, these numbers are all increasing by 2. They're all increasing by 2 because that's what the slope is. The slope is 2. 2x. 2 times 1 is 2, plus 5 is 7. 2 times 2 is 4, plus 5 is 9. So we filled in our table of values. The ordered pairs are as follows. Remember, we always put x first, so -2, 1. -1, 3. 0, 5. 1, 7. 2, 9. Now, if you'll notice here, y equals 2x plus 5. So what that means in the world of mathematics, we're going to have a coordinate grid. A map is a coordinate grid. This is called a Cartesian coordinate grid. So we're going to go ahead and graph this on this graph. So 2x plus 5. So the first thing I want to do is put the 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. The slope is 2. So I'm going to count up to 1, 2, over 1. I'm going to do the opposite too. I'm going to go 1, 2, go over 1. 1, 2, 1, 2, over 1. I've got quite a few little lines there, don't I? So I'm going to go ahead. So this is a linear graph. It's a line. All of these data points are solutions to this equation. Every place along this line. Now, Our first point that we replaced with x is -2. -2, 1. Right there. The next one was -1, 3. 1, 2, 3. The next one was 0 and 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. The next one was 1 and 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And the last point was 2 and 9. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And there you go. All of the points that they gave me, I graphed. Let's go to number 2. We have 3/8, y equals 3/8 x minus 5. Y equals 3/8 x minus 5. Now, we talk about slope. So I'm going to graph this equation here for you. And by the way, when you guys come in on Monday to get your assignments for next week, I'm going to give you the textbook and I'm going to give you some graph paper. Okay? So the slope is 3/8 and the y-intercept is -5. So I'm going to start at 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, now remember we talked about slope last week. Rise over run. I'm going to go up 3, 1, 2, 3, over 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So just for good measure, I'm going to take it the other way too. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay? Now I have 3 good points. Combine that. So this is a graph of this equation. 3 over 8. So 3, up 3, and over 8. And it starts at -5. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Now we're going to fill in the table of values. So 3 over 8 times -8 over 1 minus 5. Okay? So remember, when we multiply fractions, we can factor them out diagonally to simplify it. So I'm going to factor out the 8. 8 divided by 8 is 1. So we have 3 times -1 is 3, minus 5 is -2. Minus 5 is -2. So 1, 2. One, 2. So that's where it's crossing the y-axis. All right. So it's -8, -2. Now we have 3 over 8 times 0 over 1. You're multiplying a number by 0. Okay. 3 times 0 is 0 over 8 minus 5. Okay, so I've gone ahead of myself a little bit. I paused the recording. I made a mistake here. I kind of figured that. So let's label these points. -8 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Now we're going to go down 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and look at that. Right on the schnoz. 0, negative 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And 8 and negative 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and negative 2. So we have solved this both algebraically, meaning we plugged in the numbers, and we solved it graphically too. That's what I want you to be able to do. Now let's continue. So, question number 3. Explain why each relationship is not proportional. So here's my 0 at the x value and 3. Okay? So I'm going to try to graph this. Remember, it's y over x, right? Rise over run. So this is the run, rise, and this is the run. 3 divided by 0. You can't do that. So that's why this is not a proportional relationship, because it's not starting at 0, 0, and you cannot divide a number by 0. So let's go along with these. So this one you can't do. 7 divided by 2, 3.5. 11 divided by 4, 2.75. 15 divided by 6, 2.5. 19 divided by 8, 2.375. So not only is it not proportional, it's not linear. Is not proportional because you cannot divide a number by 0. It is also not linear. Which means that it's just kind of quackadoodle there. You've got a bunch of squiggly lines. A linear function means it's a straight line. Now, I've shown you a few examples today. Number 4, this equation doesn't work as proportional because it doesn't start here at the origin. It does not start at the origin. Okay, so for number 5, they want me to go ahead and fill in the table of values and graph it. Now, we're going to be doing this for many weeks now, graphing. When you see a variable like this, x minus 1, when there's no number in front of the x, it's 1. So this has a slope of 1. Okay? So we're going to fill out the table of values. So we have negative 2 times 1 minus 1, negative 1 times 1 minus 1, 0 times 1 minus 1. 1 times 1 minus 1. 2 times 1 minus 1. And notice I didn't put these here. I put the number 1. It doesn't matter how you multiply. So negative 2 times 1 is negative 2. Negative 2 minus 1 is negative 3. Negative 1 times 1 is negative 1. Minus 1 is negative 2. Now this time you should see the numbers change in steps of 1. 0 times 1 is 0. Minus 1, negative 1. Remember, that's what that's saying right there. 1 times 1 is 1. Minus 1 is 0. 2 times 1 is 2. Minus 1 is 1. So you notice it's coming up in steps of 1. Negative 3, negative 2, negative 1, 0, and 1. So we're going to go ahead and graph this guy. And remember, my slope is 1. So I'm going to plot all these ordered pairs here. Negative 3, 1, 2, 3. Excuse me. Negative 2, 1, 2, negative 3, 1, 2, 3. Negative 1, negative 2. 0 and negative 1, I've already graphed that one. 1 and 0, I've already graphed that one. 2 and 1. Now we'll take our straight edge, because that's what I want you to use, and make a nice crisp line. It says here, how can you choose values for x when making a table of values representing a real-world situation? You choose logical numbers. Depending upon the data. So if you'll notice, this guy here, this was a 3 over 8. So they wanted to choose multiples of 8 for a good reason. Otherwise, it would be clunky. So negative 8 and 8. Okay, so you want to choose logical numbers for your x values depending upon the data. Okay, and today's code word is still achieve. 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 Have a nice morning. I'll see you all at 10.